Throughout Embiid's career, when been on the court for the Sixers, we've seen the Sixers win a lot of games with him on the court. And we know his strengths as a player. He's a former regular season MVP, countless all-time All-Star. Sixers have made the playoffs every season that he was there for a majority or a little over half the season. But his biggest weakness has held the team back from reaching even greater heights and is hindering them this season.
Fasten your seatbelts for the realest Eagles and Sixers YouTuber! One who plays no clickbait and gets to the point! The myth, the legend, Nicky Steves! Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. I'm sick these cats who think they slate, dropping unrealistic mad 2K takes for the clip. Even though cats like that get views closer to the milli, never hear me preach, look on to Philly. Before you watch the Eagles all the way through the early 22, authentic talk, forget what others do. Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. The 24/7, 365 way. Sports content for the reals to fill the day.
The biggest weakness Embiid has had throughout his entire career is durability. We know that. And if you look at the thumbnail, you saw on the left-hand side, I have Embiid leaving with an injury during his college days at Kansas, and then him dealing with injuries at the pros to prove that this has been an issue throughout his entire basketball playing career, or at least the majority of, even going back before the NBA. Now, granted, on one hand, yes, him being a big man, it does play a role in injuries, yes. But however, we've noticed it's a combination of load management and durability that have been the contributing factor to this reoccurring time and time again. Look at every season we're trying to make a big push in the playoffs throughout this decade. 2020, 2021 against the Hawks. Yes, you had Ben Simmons, but you also had Joel Embiid was playing at less than 100% with his foot. Then against the Heat, he had an orbital bone fracture the following year in the second round. He ended up, playing, but at less than 100%. Then the Celtics series, Game 7, the team just laid a massive egg against them and ended up losing the series. Last year, he missed a good portion of the regular season. Sixers did play strong with him and won most of their games. Early in the season, when Embiid was playing, he was looking like a contender in the East. And then without him, they took a dip. He did come back toward the end of the regular season, but by that point, the Sixers had to win in the play-in against the Miami Heat to get the 7th seed. But then they ended up losing. And now this year, all year, we've heard about injuries. Embiid missing time due to injuries. And he hasn't been available for us throughout the season. And it's reflecting on in terms of the locker room chemistry, in terms of the reports we hear from the Sixers. And, it's not just that, though, but it is also coaching and the GM. But it's been and, he seems to be disinterested at times in playing for the team. Now, I'll go through this real quickly. I saw a video from Sixers Now by Chat Sports. I put the link to it in the comments. You guys can check it out. If you skip ahead to 133 in that video and pause it, there's a quote from Stephen A. about Embiid. And I'm going to read that quote for you guys. It's, "Let me say this to Joel Embiid in all seriousness. You're about a tad bit away from being compared to Ben Simmons. You bring up the injuries and all that stuff. I look at the disinterest on his face, the lack of enthusiasm." Now, Stephen A. Smith is hinting at the idea that Embiid doesn't seem enthusiastic about being here, and he doesn't want to play. And when you consider that he's only played 6 games all season, that's it. That goes to show you that, yeah, sadly, he's not interested. It doesn't look like he's interested. It looks like his mind's in other places, either visualizing himself playing for another team or he's focused on other priorities outside of basketball, whatever the case may be. Yes, injuries have played a role in it. Embiid's always dealt with injuries because we all know he missed the first 2 seasons of his career. 2016, 2017 was his rookie year when he was drafted in 2014. So, yeah, we've dealt with the injuries. And like I said, with the playoffs, And now, he's missing time due to foot injuries. But Stephen A. brought up an interesting point about how it seems like he's disinterested. He's not enthusiastic. And it's been kind of getting that vibe. Remember the whole incident with Tyrese Maxey calling him out for not showing up to team meetings, being like, hey, why are you late to everything? Implying that Embiid's been consistently late or no showing important team activities such as practice, team meetings, and so on. So there have been hints put out there that Embiid's not interested in being a member of the Sixers. And now it's after years of, his injuries and that big weakness preventing the Sixers from doing more than what they could have. Now this year, it's gotten to the point where he's barely on the court, and fans are starting to turn their backs on him and be like, they're starting to draw Ben Simmons comparisons to Simmons not playing, being reluctant to leave. And ironically, Embiid, who was considered the hero at the time, he was getting endless praise from guys like Shaq. I remember I talked about this back in January of 22. Right before the Sixers played the Lakers on a Wednesday night game, Shaq gave Embiid some praise for stepping up, unlike his, quote, soft partner, referring to Ben Simmons, who was about a month away from being traded. And now here we are now, Embiid, ironically, is doing some of the same things Ben Simmons has done. Part due to injuries, but it seems like he's not interested in being here and he wants out. And like we said, Maxey called him out for it. So there's that. Now, as far as, the injury, like I said, we talked about this before. I remember I did a live stream about it after the meeting. Straight to the point, Sports and Entertainment came on and joined me in a live stream, and he said the best asset for a player is availability. And he pointed to some of the all-time greats that were usually playing 70-plus games a year. Some of those players were even big men, such as Karl Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, who stepped on the court and actually played. So being a big guy is not an excuse for injuries. You can still be a big guy and still be active and still be available. But Embiid's availability has been the biggest weakness of the Sixers throughout his entire tenure, and now it's really hurting the team now. You can see, furthermore, it's at the point now where the Sixers are 7-11 this season without Embiid and 1-5 with him. And then that brings me to my final point. I feel like the window has closed for this team to do something with him. Because like I said, the guy's not interested. He's not really playing much. And he's constantly dealing with injuries. In addition to the weakness of him being injured, we also see disinterest in him being with the team. Showing up late to meetings. Being called out by Tyrese Maxey for it. Rarely playing. It's a sign that Embiid doesn't want to be here. Which means that the opportunity to win a championship and the window for him to lead the team to a championship like Nikola Jokic did for the Nuggets, Giannis for the Bucks a few years ago, that window has closed. You see with his absence, you see Tyrese Maxey stepping up, playing hard. You also see when he was healthy, Jared McCain was showing that he could have something, which is why we're hoping he makes a full recovery and can come back as soon as possible. We also see Kelly Oubre Jr. showing some flashes at times. These are the guys that the Sixers should be building around going forward. Should be the guys like Maxey, McCain, Oubre. Start to consider, moving on from Embiid. Because to me, the process is over. It's over. At this point, you gave it your best shot. It's not going to work. It's time to just hit the reset button. Start to build the team around Maxey. Move on from Embiid, because it's getting to that point where he's going to eventually reach Ben Simmons territory in regards to nobody wants him there. Now, remember, the difference is Embiid had MVP, had been the leader, but the one thing it has in common with the Ben Simmons situation is nobody really wants him there. So I feel like that window is closed. It's time for the Sixers to move on. Figure out shipping Embiid somewhere else, either during the offseason. Most likely would be the offseason. I don't think it's going to happen during the trade deadline, but consider shipping Embiid somewhere else. Get him out of here and move on. And that's really all I got to say for you guys. If you guys want to add anything to what I said, feel free to do so. Make sure to drop a like on the channel. Subscribe if you haven't done so. We're doing Eagles and Sixers content on a regular basis. Tomorrow, December 21st, noon, I'll be going live to preview the Eagles-Commanders Week 16 matchup. We'll also see some other football, basketball-related YouTube shorts on my channel about Eagles, Sixers, and other football and basketball-related subjects. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, boys signing out. Have a great day.